The BMW 6 Series and I are not friends. It's a car that I just can't figure out. On the upside, it's crammed with luxury and it's got great dynamics, but on the downside, it's expensive. You can't use 2 of its 4 seats, and it looks like that. And now, it's got a diesel motor. Which simply means that its less than attractive face will be matched by a less than attractive engine noise. I seriously think they should pass some global law banning cars with any sort of luxury or performance pretensions from being fitted with diesel power. It just doesn't fit the profile. Although, having said that, the first thing you notice about this engine is that you don't really notice it. There's no diesel clatter or rattle, just a very smooth 6-cylinder sound. If you switch off the Bang & Olufsen sound system and floor it, you might hear a slight diesel accent, but it is incredibly refined. And it gets better. The usual diesel trait of lag and shove followed by a shortness of breath just isn't there. It's smooth and progressive and linear and very good. This is the Magic Maker, a 3-litre straight-six turbo diesel with 230 kilowatts and 630 newton meters, available from just 1,500 RPM. BMW says this engine will push the car from 0 to 100 in 5.3 seconds and sip just 5.4 litres of fuel per 100 kilometers. The CO2 count is 143 grams per kilometer. Now, to put that into perspective, that's about 2% more than a Toyota Etios. Even though this engine isn't BMW's most powerful or biggest or most expensive, it is one of the best, and it's matched to the 6's other talents. One thing all 6 Series models do really well is cruise. Like the engine, the suspension setup is smooth and it just gets on with the job. The steering is quick and accurate, although this car just never feels like it wants to do anything aggressively, let alone corner with any sort of intent. But that doesn't mean it doesn't enjoy a bit of enthusiastic driving. Although plenty of torque and a little bit of extra weight means it quite easily calls on its electronic nannies to keep things in check. The 8-speed gearbox gets its job done in a smooth and understated way. This is where the 6 Series really comes together. If you're stuck in traffic or on your way to the golf club or driving to the beach house, it wraps you up in real luxury with options like sound system from the best audio makers in the world, Bang & Olufsen, and maroon leather. I don't know what it is about maroon leather. I reckon you could wrap a park bench in this stuff and it would still scream posh. There is only one downside to this interior, but it doesn't even concern the driver. The rear seats are there only for show. Actually fitting someone in there without giving them deep vein thrombosis isn't even worth the effort. Everything else is just right though. It's typically BMW, but with an air of genuine snobbery about it. The controls feel good, the materials are top class, and the whole setup tells you your 890,000 Rand was well spent. The problem is that at some point, you'll have to get out of the car. Then you'll be faced with this. A front end that doesn't quite know what it is. Is it aggressive? Is it stylish? Is it understated? For me, it's none of those things. It's just odd. Thankfully, the car gets better the further back you go. The profile has that typical sleek coupe shape, and the back is 100 times better than the original generation. Sometimes, even though you may not like the look of a car at first, over time it grows on you. This is not one of those cars. To me, the 6 Series is still as odd-looking now as it ever was, purely because it doesn't have any sort of definite characteristic. A podgy face and a rear that, while it looks good on its own, doesn't match the front. Let's discount my distaste for the looks and see what we're left with. It is a capable cruiser, it is very luxurious, and a subtle diesel soundtrack means there's nothing to distract from what is a very smooth package. For me, the 640D makes the most sense out of the entire range. It's got everything that you get in the petrol models, plus the added luxury of not having to fill up that often. A fantastic diesel motor makes life in the 640D worthwhile. A lot of smooth, usable torque with an unobtrusive and efficient gearbox. Even if you don't spec the 6 Series to the point of pure opulence, it'll keep you comfortable and deliver a drive that satisfies. Pity we can't say the same about the styling.